Hello everyone, my name is Arik Jeniarti. So this video I want to explain about metaphors and idioms. The first material is about metaphor. Definition of metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that directly compares to unrelated thing by stating that one is the other. It does not use comparative word, for example, like or as. It is used to convey symbolic meaning or to create vivid imagery. The next material is about characteristic of metaphors. The first is no use of comparison words, for example, like and as. The next is imaginative and non-literal meaning. And the last is often used in literature, speeches, and poetry. The next material is about types of metaphors. The first types is explicit metaphors, direct comparison. For example, life is a journey. And the second types of metaphors is implicit metaphors. One element is implied rather than stated. For example, he roared across the battlefield. He is compared to a lion, but the lion isn't mentioned directly. The next material is example of metaphors. She's the backbone of the family. The next, his mind is an ocean full of ideas, and the next is times is a thief. Next material is about function of metaphor. The first function is to create vivid imagery, and the next function is for simplify complex ideas, and the last function is add emotional depth and poetic effect. Okay, the next material is about idiom. Definition of idiom. An idiom is a fixed expression or phrase whose meaning cannot be understood from the literal meanings of the individual words. Idioms are culturally specific and often unique to a particular language. The next material is characteristic of idioms. The first is the overall meaning is different from the literal meaning. The second is cannot be translated word for word across language, and the last is often used in everyday conversation. The next material is about types of idiom. The first is noun idioms. Give of gap, piece of cake. Next, verb idioms. Kick the bucket, break the ice. Adjective idioms. Under the weather, full of beans. The next material is about example of idioms in sentence. The first example, he kicked the bucket last year. The meaning, he died. The next, let's break the ice before the meeting starts. The meaning, start a conversation to ease tensions. And the last example is I'm feeling under the weather today, meaning I'm sick. The next material is about function of idioms. The first function is for express ideas in a more colorful and efficient way. The next is add cultural richness to the language. The last is enhance fluency and naturalness in speech. And the last is about conclusion about the material. Metaphor and idioms both involve figurative language, but they serve different purpose. A metaphor is a direct comparison used enhance expression or create imagery. An idiom is a vague expression with a meaning that cannot be inferred from the literal meanings of the word. And metaphors are mostly used in literature and formal speech to evoke deeper meaning, while idioms are common in everyday conversation and reflect cultural